He found out about my hot girl summer. I did not expect such reaction. This is going to be a long post, so guys, brace yourself. I know what you guys must be thinking. In this era of short videos on Instagram, I am choosing to write this lengthy-ass post to share my story. My name is not that important, as I am here to put out my story. I have a rather decent following, and I don't want to ruin it for the sake of being honest. I am 45 years old, and my husband is 51. I have 3 kids with my husband, who I have been married to for almost 2 decades. We had a good relationship and understood each other very well. I had no qualms with my life, except for the fact that I sacrificed my upcoming career as a model to raise my kids. I sometimes wondered how my life would be if I had not had a kid so early and pursued my modeling career. Then maybe my life would have turned out to be different. I still was happy with my life and my kids. When I was out with my friends, they kept asking me what happened to that zealous and enthusiastic girl who wanted to make a name for herself in the modeling world. I knew I had big dreams, which all changed when I met the love of my life. I was young and madly in love, so I decided to leave everything for the man of my dreams. I believed that I could become a model even after being married, but that changed quickly once I got pregnant. I was torn between keeping the baby or focusing on my career. My husband said that he would support me no matter what. I made the choice of having a baby and then thinking about pursuing my career. How difficult would it be, right? Let me tell you how wrong I was. I should have decided what I exactly wanted and then made better choices. What is life without a few fuck-ups, right? So yeah, things kept changing so rapidly, and my dream of being a model kept on going on the back seat. I was now in that phase of life where my kids had grown up to be independent. I wanted to still pursue my dreams. I took it upon myself that this summer was going to be different. My husband and kids encouraged me to go for it. I was going on a vacation with my girlfriends for a week in summer. I wanted to utilize this time to relive my era of being a model like my younger self. I arranged a photographer to take my pictures on the trip. I made sure that I followed a strict diet to maintain my figure so that the pictures turn out sexy and impressive. I bid my kids and husband goodbye, who uplifted my spirits and told me that they would stand with me and cheer me on all along my journey. I told them that I would be back as a new person, high with confidence and maybe even a few modeling gigs. They wished me luck and asked me to just have fun and go all out without thinking too much about anything much. Me and my girls were having fun, and my photographer was clicking a few candid pictures focusing on me, of course. I was the one paying him, so I would be the focus of attention. I just didn't want my girls to feel bad about me being clicked alone. Also, I did not want them to gossip behind my back about how I was being selfish. I know it sounds very petty, but trust me, girls are jealous of even their best of friends. My photographer suggested I take a few pictures of mine with the sunset as well, and a few silhouette pictures just in case I was to hand over a portfolio to an agency in the future. I thought that it was not a bad idea. I was paying him good money, so why not make good use of it? After taking a few shots, my photographer did not look very satisfied. He said that there was something missing in these pictures. He said that he would think of some other ideas to take a few fantastic pictures and leave for the day. At around 10 at night, he messaged me that he had an idea and shared a few pictures asking me about what I thought of it. I was a little skeptical, but he reassured me that this was a trend that would open many modeling assignments for me. I gave it a thought, and I was already a bit drunk, so I decided why not go all out when I have, anyway decided to give it my all. I left the bar and went to my room to get dressed for the photo shoot. After about 15 minutes, my photographer knocked and let himself in. He looked at what I was wearing and said that we might have to make it look more authentic. He suggested that we make a bubble bath, and then I submerge myself in it and take a few snaps with a few poses. I was a bit uncomfortable to get naked in the bathtub in front of a stranger, but I was having big dreams for myself again. I was like, what the heck am I thinking? If I become famous, obviously these things will become so common. I made the bathtub ready, and the photographer took a few pictures of just the bathtub with the entire setup of candles and all the jazz. He then asked me to get into the tub and call him when I was ready. I took off all my clothes and got into the tub. When I was confident that I made sure that I was covered, I called him in. He then came in and made a few setups and started asking me to pose in a certain way to click pictures. We were getting the hang of it when I was supposed to pose a certain way, and the bubbles suddenly started turning into water. I had an oops moment where one of my boobs was visible for a few seconds. He saw it and did not react, and mumbled that he had seen a lot and did not get distracted. I was feeling shy, but then since he did not react, I decided to act professional as well. We took a few more pictures after making a few bubbles again, and before wrapping up, he advised that we should first look at the pictures and see if we both were satisfied. He said that it would be easier to use the setup as is before we decide to drain out everything. I found that it made sense, so I was like, why not? I got into a bathrobe and started looking at the pictures. I could see his penis erect while watching a few pictures that looked stunning. I smiled to myself but did not notice that he was aware of what I was looking at. We were so engrossed in watching the pictures that I did not notice my bathrobe slide down and expose one of my boobs. Of course, he was ogling at it when I realized, but he grabbed me so hard and kissed me. The kiss was so good that I could not resist myself. I gave in way too quickly, and we started making out just like that. No second thoughts, no discussion, as if we both knew what we were getting into. We moved to the bathtub, the same one where he was taking my pictures. We utilized the entire setup, and I was so lost in my lust that I hardly noticed what was going on around me. We made love the entire night. He was young and not so bad looking. I was impressed that I still had it in me to charm young me even at such an age. I was confident that the kids and the scars from giving birth did not matter if I wanted to charm any man that I wanted to. I had the best sex of my life after a long time. I completely forgot how good it felt when you have the kind of sex that you had been craving for. I did not regret it one bit when I got up in the morning. My friends saw the photographer leave my room in the morning and kept teasing me throughout breakfast, asking me for all the hot gossip. I told them how things panned out last night, and we all had drinks toasting for the trip to be a success. I made sure that I utilized the next 2 days to have as much fun with my photographer as possible, as I knew I would have to go back to my boring life with my husband. I made the most of my trip and then bid goodbye to my photographer in a professional way and walked out as if nothing happened. My friends would help me with managing the calls with my husband and covering for me when I was with the photographer. They would make sure that my secret remains a secret and that my husband is in the dark about all of this. I went home, hugged my husband, and kissed him, telling him that I missed him a lot and that he should have been there. He was happy to have me back, all happy and with a fit body. He asked me if I had fun and how did the photo shoot go. I told him that it was great, and I would show him the pictures once I had them delivered. We went back to our normal lives and did not mention anything about the vacation. We spent time catching up on everything that I missed while I was away. I quickly pushed all my adventures aside and focused on my reality. I knew that I was now back home, and anything that comes in the way of my marriage and family should be pushed away. I knew my priorities and decided that some things needed to be kept a secret. I was not going to sacrifice my marriage and life over an affair that hardly lasted a few days. It was not worth even remembering. I just thought of it as a black dot in my head that would go away with time. The pictures were delivered along with a note which read, "I had a good time. Hope you did too." Unfortunately, my husband had picked up the pictures and had peeked at them. Once I was home, he asked me what the note meant. I said that it was probably nothing and just a tactic for more business. I acted as if it meant nothing, and I had no clue why he even sent that note. The pictures were awesome, and my husband really was a bit uneasy looking at a few of them, but complimented me for following my dreams, nonetheless. I lied that my girls were around all the time while taking the pictures so that he doesn't suspect anything. He did buy that explanation and did not push further. I was thankful that he trusted me to not ask any more details about the photos. We left it there, and I thought it was all good. My kids were shocked to see how good I looked, and even encouraged me to send them to a few magazines. They made fun of me, saying that they had no idea that they had a celebrity hidden among them. It made me blush and made me confident that even at my age, I would be able to get a few offers that I could work on. I forgot about everything that happened with the photographer, and was going about my life just like normal when I started getting messages from an unknown number. I soon realized that it was the photographer who kept blackmailing me to meet me if he did not want me to send any more pictures to my place. I was not sure what he meant by that, but still I pleaded with him not to do any such sorts of things and promised to meet him for one last time. I met him at a hotel room and told him that I was willing to do anything so that he could stop harassing me and leave me alone. I said that I was thankful for him to have a good time with me, and that was it. I told him that it was understood that it would just be a fling and we would get back to our lives. He laughed and said that I would have to be delusional to think that way. I told him that I had a husband and kids and did not want to sabotage that life for a fling. He said that I should have thought about it before doing something atrocious. I told him that I did not lure him into it, and we both agreed to it, so how could he blackmail me? He said that it's not in his hands anymore. I looked at him confused, and then he opened another door, revealing my husband standing there and listening to our entire conversation. I was shell-shocked, looking at my husband here. I pinched myself to see if I was seeing him in real life. I could not dare to meet his eyes. I was ashamed of myself, and knew that I was caught red-handed, and no explanation is going to save my relationship. The photographer handed a package to my husband and left. I lost my voice and could not bring myself to ask him what was in the package. I knew that it was holding bad news for me. I waited for my husband to speak or yell, but it did not come. I was a bit confused and looked at him to understand what he was waiting for. My phone started buzzing suddenly. I started getting calls from my kids and every relative who I did not even speak with in a lifetime. One of my sons started yelling at me, telling me how I could have done something like this. I ruined his life, and now he doesn't know how to face his friends at school. I was about to ask him what he was talking about, but he hung up on me. I was confused as I kept getting messages from everyone asking if it was fake. What was fake? I had no clue what they were even talking about. My husband had a smirk on his face all this while. He told me that since I wanted to get famous as a model, he just gave me a head start. He asked me to look at my mail, looking at my confused expression. I then realized that all my pictures and videos were shared with the family group with no filters. These were not the pictures that my photographer had taken, but of us making out. I had no clue that he was recording all that was happening between us. I was shocked to see that something that was supposed to be a secret was all over the place. I could not understand how I was so blinded by lust that I could not even realize that all of these were being recorded. I was so dumb to not even check if this would be used to blackmail me in the future. I still did not understand how my husband got a hold of all these things. He understood the puzzled look on my face and told me that the note that the photographer sent got him curious. He found his details and contacted him. He said that everything in the world comes with a price. All he had to do was pay the right price to get the information that he needed. He got all the juicy information about my so-called photo shoot and the truth behind it. He also said that he was not going to trust my slutty girlfriends, who were also a part of it. He was more than disappointed in me for not being transparent. He said that maybe he would have even tried to forgive me if I had come clean, but now we were way past this. I lied to him while on the trip, and even after I was back, acted as if nothing had happened that was worth discussing. This instantly broke the trust he had in me. I knew that there was no going back from all of this. I pleaded with him that I had lost my mind back then and made a horrible mistake. I was ashamed of my actions, and that I was willing to do anything to ask for forgiveness. I just wanted him to think about our kids and how it would ruin their lives. He raised his eyebrow and asked me if he was the only one that needed to think about the kids. I should have thought about it before I decided to put my lust in front of the entire life that we had built all these years. I told him that I got carried away and that this would never happen again. I sacrificed all my life and youth to take care of this family, so could he not give me a pass this one time? He had this expression which said, "Are you serious for saying that?" He said that he had been loyal to me all my life and sacrificed his youth as well to take care of the family, both financially and emotionally. So does that mean even he would be getting passes every time he felt overwhelmed? He said we had been together all this while because we both knew that we would be loyal to each other, and that was what kept us together all this while. He added that he was in awe with me for not even complaining about not being able to explore a career and take care of the family. This one mistake of mine had ruined everything that was between us. There was no way he would be able to forgive me and move past this. It was as if I had broken the blind trust that he had in me, and there was no way that he was going to live in paranoia for the rest of his life in the fear of me cheating on him again. I understood where he was coming from, but was not willing to accept the fact that I could not even get one free pass for a mistake that I made after being married for so long. He told me that he had booked the room for the night and wanted me to stay here and reflect on what I had done to destroy my own life. He said that he was going to give me time to think of it all and then decide how I wanted to go ahead with the divorce and custody, as he was not going to change his mind. I was about to talk him into thinking about it more before making a decision, but he just got up and left. I was devastated after he left. I could feel the walls around the room closing in on me. Slowly, the realization sunk in that I might be losing everything that I had built all these years. I started frantically scrolling through my phone to see even if one person was backing me up in the messages that I received. Unfortunately, everyone kept slamming me for not being able to keep myself in check. The harshest messages came from my kids, which was saddening. I could not make myself deal with the hate that my kids suddenly felt towards me without even waiting for me to put in my point of view. I knew that there was no explanation that could justify my actions, but I could breathe a little bit better if they would be willing to give me a second chance to be their mother. The next day when I went home, my kids refused to even look at me and tried to avoid eye contact. They said that I did not deserve their attention. My daughter looked at me and said that she was ashamed to call me her mom, and she would be glad if she did not turn up like me in the future as I was leaving. My heart shattered into a million pieces listening to this. Within a week, my husband sent me divorce papers and the custody trial dates. I knew that there was nothing to salvage in my marriage, but maybe I could try and win custody of my kids. When the trial began, my kids said all kinds of spiteful things about me being selfish and did not want to live with me, as they did not want to have a liar as their role model. I broke down after the custody trial went in the favor of my husband. I felt so lonely sitting alone outside of court with no one on my side. In a matter of a month, I lost my husband, my kids, and the life that I had built all these years. I'm in tears writing this, reflecting on the silly things that led to a full 360 in my life. Not every decision that you take might go in your favor. Sometimes, even when you are tempted by something, it is important to take a moment to assess what you might be putting at risk by doing this. I have realized that every decision that you take in the heat of the moment would be wrong 90% of the time. I miss my husband and family and the cozy life that I had created for myself. Sometimes you don't realize the worth of things until you lose them. I have been shattered and at the verge of depression, realizing that I had no goal or nothing to do. My family hates me and wants nothing to do with me. I try hard every day to persuade my kids to forgive me and give me another chance to show them that they are the most important people in my life. I know that it will take time for them to accept the fact that even their mother could make mistakes. I am hoping to get back with my kids as soon as possible so that I don't miss their important milestones growing up. I cry to sleep every night cursing myself for getting carried away and ruining my life with my own hands. I now understand how one mistake can change the entire fate of your life. I believe that one day I will be successful in making my kids forgive me and will get back with them. It would be hard to say the same about my husband. I know for sure that my marriage is now a lost cause after the divorce finalized. I do hope to have an amicable relationship so that it is not weird with the kids around whenever that happens. Thank you all for taking the time to read through my story. I feel like many people will resonate with my story. One mistake should not be the one to ruin your life. Please make informed choices and don't jump the gun if you think it might be something that would ruin any of your relationships. This is all from me, and hope to see you all with a positive story soon.